Hi guys, how you going? It's Michael Burrell from the TI Effect channel. Um, Basically, I'm just going over a few things that I believe should be sorted out, especially the daily targeted gang stalking. Uh, Example, I'm adding the video to when I was driving back from my son's school and back to where I'm residing at present with my daughter. Um, if you're TI like me and you've been a veteran TI for so long, you'll understand the concept of what it is, the reality of it all, and just what you need to understand about gang stalking, especially when you're on the road. Today I took a short video clip of a 1 out of 5 vehicles today that were pretty much tracking me. Look, you're not going crazy, you're not mentally retarded, it's basically just the normality of being a targeted individual that you are going through while you're going anywhere. My idea is to change routes all the time, don't travel the same routes always, find other routes of way to get from A to B, from destination to origin. It's easy that way. It sort of plays around with them a little bit themselves as well, even though they have their mobile applications and they have the trackers or whatever the sensors they have to try and react or get you to react to whatever they're doing. Being a TI is probably the worst thing you could ever go through. But as I said, I've been a targeted individual for years now, and I'm pretty much used to it. Gang stalking, when you realise the research after research and the analytical, especially from the experts themselves. I'm not an expert, I'm just a veteran TI that's been part of it for so long. You'll understand the real concept of what it is, and you know it does really suck to what you're going through, and too many TIs that are very weak, they don't survive in this environment too long. I've heard so many stories of good people actually perishing within these sort of states as a targeted individual. Um, but the Orwellian structure is real. It's been around for, I don't know, a long time. Especially these techniques that the gang stalkers and the perpetrators do day in, day out. Now, I'm affected every day, but I know now that it's just normal. Every time I see it, I sort of smile and say, yeah, alright. I sometimes give a friendly wave, which in reality I say that, being ignorant to whatever the reaction you get from these gang stalkers or the perpetrators that are involved, just don't react to it. It's fairly easy. Even when they are physical, the technique that I know now is that they can't come near you physically. So even though they react to you or they try to get you to do all sorts of not so good things, the best medicine is actually just to ignore it. It's very easy that way. I am back to court on December the 10th, Monday, December the 10th, 2018. The good thing is I do have a good legal team. Hopefully they can do work wonders, and see what I can get from this debacle. I'm looking at the worst. The worst is that I'll probably get the maximum sentence, or even deportation after the sentence, which will suck because then I'll lose my family altogether. My wife is doing very well here, so I just want her to stay where she is, and the education system here is pretty good, especially for the children, my children, my kids. So it would mean a cross Tasman jump back and forth. Anyway, with my work and technology work, it doesn't really matter because anywhere where I go anyway, it's just it's fairly easy anyway. With my IT work, especially with artificial intelligence. But in the long run, gang stalking is, when you're a TI, is basically you just got to get used to it. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Can you stop it? No, you can't, because there's just so many of them. Here on the Gold Coast, it's a massive community of gang stalkers, and they range from anyone, from adults to even children, which is very, very sad. How do they get paid? I wouldn't have a clue. I don't really care. Is it government orientated? You don't really know. But when you see similar things happening to you, and the research that you've done analytically sort of pays out, you say yes, it is definitely government, especially rogue counterintelligence. I won't name names on that anyway, but I already know the causes of it, because it's just basically, it's just normalcy as a targeted individual. There's not really much you can do about it, but ignore it. I reacted, and that pretty much put me in a predicament that if I do go to jail as a targeted individual, am I going to come out alive, even though it's only an assault, which is, it's a serious assault, and for me to protect my daughter, especially the incident that we went through on that specific day from this horrible person, and to my for not having due diligence, and basically I just went crazy that day. It sort of puts a massive damper on everything that I've worked my butt off for over 8 years, and now it's basically it's IT work anyway, so I can work anywhere around the world. It's really not going to matter. It just means I'm going to be doing time without technology, but pretty much everything's all on here, which is a good thing. So why are we targeted? Why am I targeted? I believe I'm targeted because two things. One is a targeted individual because of what I've been doing with technology and trying to help others, many people, and trying to build new employment in the future, in the present as well. New designs to build new technologies to help safer ways and transactions with monetary purposes. So many things. Geopolitically, I'm a conservative, so when it comes to opportunity, especially from the US, I look swing towards President Trump and President Putin, because I believe in family structure, and I believe that it comes to family values, and we've always been told that family comes first, and that's what it is. So we're classed as dissidents. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. We on governments that don't like us, we're called public enemies. If you notice the helicopters as a targeted individual buzzing around you day in, day out, 24/7, that's just a normal way of gang stalking. So there's many things that these people do, covert or overt anyway. You simply just need to get used to it. But in the long run, as a targeted individual, it is probably the hardest thing you can ever go through, and at the moment going through this despicable action of my fault, but the ignorance of the perps that were involved pretty much set me up to where I am now. Am I sorry for what I did? Absolutely. But for what I know, what she does for a living, it's absolutely, it's a one-sided story, and from what I know from her now, she pretty much gets away with a lot of things, especially people that lose their houses, lose their property, lose their assets, lose their jobs because of the specific person. That hurts a lot, and you wonder how many people has she done that to? How many people has she stolen identities to get drugs? And this is the type of person I'm up against. I'm just a normal guy, normal targeted individual that's been working my butt off. I'm a family guy. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. If I do, it's only an occasional wine now and then, which is I can't do anymore because of certain physical things, because I'm getting older, which I prefer to be more family orientated, especially to my children. But the thing that gets me is when they use tactics like with media and social media, and it basically stuffs you up left, right and centre, especially the amount of negative that comes through, which hurts. But I'm a targeted individual who've been a TI for so long, it doesn't really matter, because I have that no fear attitude anyway, but in the right way, in a positive way. No matter the circumstances that I was caught, basically in the heat of it. But I know definitely this was basically a setup, and I want to make sure that I get this out to everybody that understands the concept of real family, and understanding the troubles and the problems that targeted individuals like myself go through on a daily basis. I will be adding the normal gang stalking when you're in traffic. Basically, you just get used to it, especially when these perps slow down on you. You can figure out the different colour code of vehicles, which is quite funny. Every time you turn up to a green light, it always turns to orange before you even flick over the line. That's even more funnier, but you get used to it. Oh man, I used to get so angry because I drive a V8, and back in the days, like, what the hell is going on here? And it's every time, it always happened, even when I was working up in Brisbane and travelling back and forward, and I didn't know why. Now understanding the research and the analytical understandings from the experts themselves, as TIs that are basically getting it all out there, you understand the reality of what it is. But anyway, my job is to basically let the real TIs know and understand that there are ways to get away by ignoring, not reacting, and just doing your own thing. If you can do that, you're not going to have any problems, especially with the ones that are overt and they're physical to you. They'll only be verbally to you, and they're just spewing out BS, cursive stuff to you, threats, and that's all it is. Or you get the ones online, and all your social media, and they put all sorts of stuff on there. They're trolling you and all that sort of thing. You pretty much get used to it, because all they are is just wannabe keyboard warriors. So you'll understand from the amount of research and analysing, especially from a few good experts and some good channels, real targeted individual channels that you get to sort of verify with what you're going through on a normal day basis. But anyway, finally I had to get something that it's basically keeping me instructive, especially with the COVID that they have through your the technology, especially my laptop and my tablets and my other laptops and my iPhones and so on. They just get attacked left, right and centre, so it's good to have something that's more easier and more advisable, just to connect and direct and that's it, and send it straight through. It's fairly easy that way. You'll understand and you'll get used to that. But in the long run, being a targeted individual, it is so hard. You have to be mentally strong. I mean, absolutely mentally strong. You have to be physically strong. You have to give up on things that you thought was doing good for you, like whatever you do. you've got to get rid of all the bad stuff and start looking towards building on the good stuff, keeping healthy, keeping strong, keeping alertive, and not reacting. I mean, it's taken me 13 years to finally react. So they finally got me after 13 years, for gang stalkers and their perps to carry on and on and on, and the rotations after rotations for all these years. They finally got to me by getting through to my daughter. That really sucked for me, because that's how they got me. But anyway, that's just the way it is. Gang stalking perpetrators, they're everywhere in the world, no matter where you are, where you reside. Any country, every country, I presume, because that's just the way it is. In America, it's very, very huge. Here in Australia, it's pretty big. In Canada, massive. New Zealand, huge. South Africa, anywhere continent. In Asia, even worse. So it doesn't really matter if you do anything silly, or if you're a protester, or if you're against whatever, you will become a TI. Just remember this, we are all TIs. But if you get put into this, you better be strong. You better be physically and mentally strong, because if you're not, it's going to eat you up. And trust me, I've been through years where I just fought real BS stuff, and the good thing though, I had that understanding and the analytical and research that I've finally had over the last 2 years. I didn't even know targeted individual existed until was it March of this year, which was actually quite funny. But realizing the specifics that you go through, the primary objectives that these people these narcissists put you through, you pretty much just got to get used to it. If you don't, it's going to eat you up, and you'll do the ultimatum, or they'll get you to do the ultimatum, and they'll win, and then you lose. So, from a veteran TI like myself, 3 simple things: ignore, don't react, walk away. That's all you have to do. Fairly simple. Until you BS targeted individual channels, lying about the BS stuff, until you've really been there, you're never going to know and understand the reality of being a targeted individual. So in reality, just shut the F up and just basically move away, get out of there, because you're just a shill. You're just lies, and you're just fakes, or perps trying to be TIs. Real TI are like myself, face to face. We don't give a damn no more. Say our real names, where we're located, we don't give a damn. That's just a real targeted individual. And there's many of us like this out there, so we don't give a hoot about anything else. So it doesn't really matter. But to all the real TIs out there, just stay safe, man, because it is the hardest crap you can go through ever in your life. And the more stronger you are, the more vigilant you are, and the more ready you are, nothing can go wrong. Just don't stuff up like I did, because in reality, these perps will find ways to get you, and they will never give up. If it took them 13 years this long to finally get me, it's just crazy shit, mate, I tell you. But anyway, I'm Michael Burrell. I am a real targeted individual here on the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. I'm a family man, husband, I'm an entrepreneur, cryptopreneur, technologist. I love what I do. I've had a fair amount of success in what I've done, and I'm just basically sharing it out to the world that we TIs are real, and we need to have this foundation that we all can come together, unite together, and share our values and our stories, and the real understanding of who we really are. Alright, that's enough of my spiel to you guys. I'm off to sleep. It is nearly, where are we? .30 p.m. I'm usually up to about 2 in the morning, but I'm pretty tired because I've been pretty busy. Right, talk soon. Bye for now.